I'm ready to get my blanket started. So this is the yarn that I chose. It's a number 3 weighted yarn. It's a mandala by Lion brand. And the colors, if you're looking for what color I'm using, it's Nifflers. Are you ready to get started? I am. The first thing I decided on was the size of my blanket. I'm going to make a crib blanket, and that's going to be 164 pegs using the number 3 weighted yarn. You'll see that I've prepared my loom by starting with my starting peg, and I put a stitch marker on there, and I counted all the way around the S loom till I got to 164, and that is my 164th peg. So that was where I know that I need to change direction and go back. You'll also see that I marked 6 spaces after my green and before my last green. That's when I'm going to change my pattern, and I'll explain that later. So just count off 6 pegs, including your first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and use a stitch marker there. And this will make more sense whenever we get into the pattern. Now let's get started and get the yarn onto the loom. First thing we need to do is create a slip knot, and that's going to tie our yarn onto our loom. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a little loop and make sure they cross. You're going to take your thumb and your first finger, your pointer finger, and put it through that hole. You're kind of going to go like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to that place where it crisscrossed. You're going to turn your hand kind of upside down, and then you're going to put your thumb and your pointer finger together. At that point, you're going to slide this loop over so it's just like this. Let me try that again. Take our yarn and we're going to make a cross. Going to make it go across, and we're going to hold it with this hand. Take our thumb and first finger, flip them upside down, touch them together, and then slide off. See this yarn that's right in front? You're going to slide that off. Oops, it's really hard to do with one hand. Slide that off, and now you have your slip knot. Take your slip knot, and you're going to place it over the loop or the loom peg that has your green or whatever your starting row is. You're going to take the yarn and you're going to flip it to the back, and now we have our slip knot cast on. Now let's learn to cast on. Casting on is making your very first row and attaching the yarn to every peg of your loom. The method that I like to use is called a double E-wrap cast on. I found this to be the simplest one, and I liked it, and that's the one I'm going to teach to you. So our yarn is in the back of number 1, and we're going to keep it there, and we're going to jump over to the back of number 2. We're going to wrap it around the front of number 2, and then we're going to wrap it around number 2 again. So we have 2 loops in the front of number 2. We're going to take our bottom with our hook, and we're going to pop it over the top and pop it off, and then we're going to push it down. Now, still in the back, we're going to be behind number 3 into the front, behind number 3 into the front again. That gives us 2 loops. We're going to take our bottom loop and we're going to pop it over the first one. Number 4, we're going to wrap it once. We're going to wrap it twice. We're going to take the bottom and we're going to pop it over the top. One more time. In the front of number 5. In the front of number 5 again, and then we're going to pop it off. Behind number 6, behind number 6, so we have 2 loops in the front, bottom over the top, and we're going to repeat that until we get all the way around the loom and we end up back on peg 164. I'll see you when you get all of your pegs cast on. And here we are back at peg 164. We're going to double E-wrap that one once, twice, and we're going to yarn over. That's what it's called when you put your bottom over your top, yarning over. And congratulations, you have cast on your first blanket project. Our next video will start the border, the bottom border of the blanket. I'll explain how some of the stitches work, and we'll get well into this project. Stay tuned for the next one.